the Victoria settlement area, which we're located within. It's a traditional Métis area. It was first established as a sort of between the fur trade era ending and the agrarian sedentary style of life emerging. So we're actually located on river lot titles that predate the province. And so that transition between fur trapping or subsistence hunting and a mixed farming approach is part of what we try to capture when we're doing our historical cultural interpretation. And one of the ways that we share that story is through demonstration gardens that are within our heritage village or historical village area. So when we look at what do we grow in those gardens, we wanted to try to establish species of plants that are, would have been actually grown by those Métis, early Métis families when they moved here from Red River. So, we spoke with elders, and we did some research, and we identified heritage varieties of vegetables, and our experience development coordinator did a really good job of sourcing those seeds. So she, scoured the internet for, heirloom seed producers, and we got specific varieties of beans and squash and different vegetables that would have been grown at that time. And there's some really, really interesting types of vegetables that, we just don't necessarily see anymore, or they're kind of a little bit rare. So we really try to dedicate a portion of our garden to those areas. The step beyond that, or another step there, is our permaculture garden. So we have an area that really tries to prolong the approach to gardening, which is permaculture. So that's living kind of in harmony with the nature that's there, employing passive systems, whether it's through passive irrigation systems or locating the garden in a sunny area. So we actually, through doing that, we identified, I think, 4 or 5 permaculture sites that we've established, and they vary in purposes. One is a shelter belt to prevent the northwestern winds from hitting certain parts of the site. Another part is dealt with mainly dealing with the runoff of water from the gathering center. We put in this gathering center. The engineers were like, oh yeah, it'll just feed into this pool here and then drain off down the river bank into the river. Well, before I think the building was even completed, we realized that approach was actually washing out the access route to the river. So the road was eroding because all the water was just shooting straight down the hill. Our permaculture advisor comes in, he says, well, this is a great source of water. We slowed the water down through various pools and on contour swales. And then within those earth structures, we started planting different species. Some of them are, trees, and then others of them are actually food-bearing plants. So we're taking advantage of irrigation water that would be running off of our structures and putting them into a garden situation. So it's it's helping with the watering of there. And so the permaculture sites are really, really interesting because there's a different approach to gardening involving sustainability, working with what's already there, and different principles there. So that's another interesting element that we have. The other element I want to talk about is the food forest that we have established here. And we probably picked the worst year in the last 5 to establish it because we were under very severe drought here in Alberta.